Can people really change? Or are we ultimately just stuck as who we are and that's all we're ever going to be? It's a question we can often begin to ask ourselves and ask others, especially when there's a change that we see that needs to happen, but it doesn't happen. For years and years, it doesn't happen. Either it's in ourselves and we can't seem to make it happen, or it's in somebody we know and they refuse to make it happen. We begin to ask ourselves, can change really happen? Can people really change? Or are we just in our core always who we're going to be? Well, in John chapter 9, it says that there was a man who was born blind from birth, could never see, even from the time he was a child. And then we find out later that he's an adult now. Whether that's 25 or 30 or 45, we don't know. But for decades, he hasn't been able to see. And he probably thought that would never change. Everybody around him told him that would never change. And all his past experiences in life seemed to point towards the conclusion that this would never change. However, it did change. When Jesus Christ showed up, he spit in some mud, he wiped it on the man's eyes, told him to go wash in a certain pool, and it says the man went and washed and came home seeing. It changed. His eyes changed. The blind became seeing. See, the whole world, again, was telling him this change was impossible. And even when it did happen, all the people refused to believe it was him. That's how firm they were in their unbelief that this change couldn't happen. When they saw him seen, they said, it's just somebody that looks like him. It's not this same guy. Well, in the same way, our world today is geared towards unbelief. It always tells us not to believe. It says change isn't possible. Everything tempts us towards believing that change is not possible. But the reality is, just like for this blind man, where Christ is, change does happen. Change is possible. See, as Christians, we are a people who believe, not a people who don't believe. We're people who believe. We are a people who believe that in Christ, all things are possible. In Christ, there is new life. In Christ, change does happen. Whether that be something in ourselves, a bad habit, an addiction, bad temper, whether it be in someone we love, somebody who doesn't believe in Christ yet, and we've been praying for years, and they still don't seem to believe in him, we believe that change does happen. And so don't give up that faith, but stand firm that where Christ is, change happens.